Commissioner Palmer will be absent today. Our staff members present, we have Planning Manager Levi Hill, our Principal Planner Fernanda Roveri, Principal Planner Christy Sabdo, and myself, Recording Secretary Erica Barrera. And information on participating in this meeting and providing public comment, including remotely by Zoom or telephone, is on this meeting's agenda, which is online at monterey.gov/agendas. Remote commenters will be muted until it's their turn to speak, and a timer will be shown on the screen. If you're connected on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. In the chamber, we recommend keeping phones and devices muted to prevent audio interference with the meeting. Thank you for participating in your city government.
Thank you very much, Erica. We will begin with the consent agenda. If there's anybody in chambers that wishes to pull the item out of the consent, you may do so. Seeing nobody, anybody online?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. We'll take this back to the committee. Comments?
Those minutes reflected what I remember, which could be anything. So I'd like to move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion for approval by Commissioner Stoker, a second by Commissioner Freeman to approve the minutes.
Sure. Chair Silva?
Yes.
Vice Chair Latassa?
Yes.
Commissioner Bluth?
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pauly?
Yes.
And Commissioner Stoker?
Yes.
Okay, the minutes have been approved.
Thank you, Erica. We will now allow participation from members in the chamber who wishes to speak before the Planning Commission on an item that is not on today's agenda. You may do so. Seeing nobody, anybody online, Erica?
There are no hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public comments and direct our attention now to the public hearing. I was informed right before the hearing started that there was a request to switch the order of the public hearing items, and we will begin with item number 4 and then conclude with item number 3. With that, item number 4 is a recommend the City Council find the 5-year capital improvement program for fiscal year 2026-27 consistent with the general plan, area plans, master plans, specific plans, coastal plans, traffic calming plans, and move Monterey multimodal plan CEQA exempt. And so let's see, Christy, hi there.
Yes.
Could you please provide us with a presentation?
Thank you, Chair Silva and Commissioners. My name is Christy Sabdo, Principal Planner with the City of Monterey. I'll be presenting the 5-year capital improvement program for fiscal year 26-27. So there are 79 projects under the 5-year CIP program. Most of those projects the Planning Commission has seen before for the fiscal year 25-26. There are 2 new projects on this list, the Vasquez House repairs and the Gordon House repairs, both historic properties. The 5-year CIP program was found consistent with the City of Monterey General Plan, area and specific plans, the Park and Recreation Master Plan, the Move Monterey Multimodal Plan, coastal plans, and traffic calming plans. Of the 79 CIP projects, 24 of those projects were found to be not a project under CEQA. A lot of those involved just financing the projects, moving money around. 49 projects were CEQA exempt, and I'll describe in the next slide what some of those exemptions are. 4 projects will require further review. For example, they may be in an archaeology area and have some digging in non-native soils or native soils. And so further review will be required before we can determine what the CEQA will be. And then there are 2 projects that already have final ISMNDs that have been approved. So some of the CEQA exemptions that these CIP projects will be exempt under are existing facilities, repair and maintenance, minor alterations, replacement or reconstruction, and information collection, maybe preparing a study, but not actually implementing the project. And then 4 projects that require further review will be the Marina Structural Repairs and Replacement Project, median upgrades, Monterey Conference Center cooling towers, programmatic wharf inspections and maintenance. And then the two that already have initial study mitigated negative declarations is the Del Monte Avenue groundwater remediation project and the CAL FIRE Greenbelt fuel reduction project. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution recommending to the City Council that the 5-year CIP program for fiscal year 26-27 is consistent with all of the city plans. City of Monterey, city engineer is here today, Andrew Easterling, with any questions that you might have. And planning staff is here with any CEQA determination questions you have.
Thank you, Christy. Any questions for staff?
Where are the cooling towers? Where are they located?
I believe they're at the Monterey Sports Center. The conference room?
The conference center cooling towers, and they're located on the roof.
Thank you.
Okay, I think, any other questions? Great, we'll open it up to the public. Any comments from people in chambers? Seeing nobody, anybody online, Erica?
There are 2 attendees online. However, I see no hands raised.
Thank you. We'll close the public hearing and bring this back to the commission.
I'm sorry, a hand just went up. A
Oh.
telephone caller?
Okay, let's.
I'll go ahead and allow telephone caller number ending in 735 to speak.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, my name is Monique Olson. I own an undeveloped lot at the corner of Alice and Prescott, 1880 Prescott. And I understand that the city in November apparently did not go forward with the water availability. And they're using the CDO as a potential excuse to do that. And I would urge the Planning Commission to request that the City Council reconsider its November 2025 decision to delay water distribution from Monterey Water 1, Monterey Pure Water 1.
You're speaking about an item that's not on this agenda that we're talking about.
Possibly.
Oh, okay. So was I supposed to call in earlier then?
We had actually switched the items on today's agenda.
Oh.
And so if you
Oh,
stay
you did.
when we're done, it shouldn't take too long. You would have
Okay.
somebody just talk to us. But right now, we actually, right before the hearing, switched the order of the agenda items.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I was not aware of that. So what do I do? Hang up and call back again, or just hang on into the meeting?
You could hang on or call. If are you watching it on a video stream?
No, I'm on my cell phone calling, just on a smartphone calling in.
I don't think that we're going to have a whole lot of remaining time on the item that we're currently
Okay.
discussing. If you want to just hold on and then.
Okay. My apologies. I'm if I misspoke at the wrong time.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and mute your phone and then hang on, and we'll get back to you.
Okay. They've been muted.
Any other online hands waved?
There are no hands raised.
Okay, we're going to close the public hearing and bring this back to the commission. Do I hear any questions, comments? All right, well,
Would you like a motion?
I think I would like a motion.
I think a motion would be fabulous. I think the planning commission should adopt the resolution as included in this packet today with all the exceptions and everything else. It goes on and on and on, but vote for approval to the city council.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Very good. So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Stoker and a second by Commissioner Latassa. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Chair Silva,
Yes.
Vice Chair Latassa,
Yes.
Commissioner Bluth,
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Pauly,
Yes.
and Commissioner Stoker. That has been approved.
Very good. Thank you. All right, now we'll go back to item item 3, excuse me. Accepting the 2025 General Plan Annual Report for review and comment. Not a project under CEQA per Article 20, Section 15378, and under General Rule, Article 5, Section 15061. You're up.
Thank you. Again, I'm Christy, Principal Planner with the City of Monterey. I'll be presenting the 2025 General Plan Annual Report. A California government code requires cities and counties to prepare a state-required annual progress report by April 1st of each year, describing the progress implementing the housing element. These reports are submitted to two state agencies, the California Department of Housing and Community Development and the Governor's Office of Land Use and Climate Innovation. The annual progress report is a standardized form for reporting to the state annual progress made towards implementing the goals of the housing element. The state uses these reports to track whether jurisdictions are meeting their planned housing obligations. The report must include data on a number of housing units approved, permitted, constructed, specifically compared to the RHNA, reporting housing production by income level and unit type, actions taken to implement housing element programs, and then a complete status of implementation of general plan element programs and goals. So the city has 12 general plan elements. 7 are required elements by the state. In 2024, there were 4 elements that were amended, which coincided with the 6th housing element cycle. And then we are updating the conservation and open space elements. There are some new state laws that require updating those. So this is summarizing the RHNA that was given to the city, 3,654 housing units. Those that are in most need are the very low income, which is the 0 to 50% average median income. And then the units that are above moderate income, which is 81 to 120% area median income. So this is reporting for 2025 only. This table shows building permits issued by affordability. So we have 77 units that were received building permits. 67 of those were above moderate, 5 were moderate, and 5 were low. And then in 2025, there were 116 entitled permits received zoning entitlement, and then building permits issued for 77 units, and 96 received occupancy. And then most of these units for 2025 were 5+ units. And then the next highest is ADUs, then 2 to 4 units per structure, and then single family detached. So 2300 Garden Road project included the conversion of commercial space to multifamily residential. The 64-unit apartment complex was bought by the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District to create workforce housing for district employees with the goal of supporting and retaining their staff. Amenities include a gym, laundry facilities, and parking. 60 Garden Court Phase 1, the conversion of 3-story office into 47 apartment units. Phase 2 will include 23. The interior will be completely remodeled, new exterior finishes, small balconies, and landscaping. So we did report in our general plan progress report that we don't have the water to implement our full RHNA. The city council did pass a resolution in November of 2025 that states that they don't want to use the water until the cease and desist order is lifted. And I'll talk about that more on another slide, but just want to bring this to your attention. So the 2023-31 Housing Action Plan is from the housing element. It's on an 8-year cycle. And so our housing action plan within the housing element lists 53 housing programs that we have to implement over 8 years. And so this is an example of what that looks like. It goes from 2024 to 2031. Some of the programs need to be completed within a certain year. Like you need to complete it by 2024 or 2026. Some of them are ongoing, which require annual reporting, and then others have multi-year implementation. And this summarizes how we're doing. So in 2024, we reported our progress. In 2025, we have 15% of the programs completed, 19% of the programs have been started and are continuous. They require annual reporting. 43% of the programs are in progress, and we report in detail in our general plan progress report on how we're doing that. And then 23% are not started yet. So either they have a completion date past 2025, or we just don't have the staff capacity to complete that yet. So just some examples of programs that we have completed in 2025. We have our local density bonus, established a local density bonus for multifamily projects that include lot consolidation, 2 to 3 bedroom units or moderate income units. These projects may obtain a 10% density bonus independent from or additional to the provisions of the state density bonus law. And I do have to note that in the agenda report, it says 50%, and that's an error. So anybody who read that, it should be 10%. Program 1J SB 9 housing ordinance added urban lot splits in single family zoning districts. Program 2J, the water distribution policy. So as I was saying, the city council adopted a resolution. Give me 1 second because I have some details on this. Establishing priorities and procedures for water. Affordable housing was described as the city's top priority for water allocation and will be issued a water permit prior to other project types. The priority of water allocation is based on overall size of the project, the number of affordable units proposed, and the level of affordability proposed. Water permits for the new allocations, the 141 acre feet per year will be issued when the state cease and desist order is lifted and the California Public Utility Commission moratorium is lifted or modified to allow setting of new meters or allow increasing water use at existing sites. Continuous reporting examples is Program 1A, Inventory of Available Sites. The annual progress report submitted to HCD that we're reviewing now. Program 1M, ADU and JADU Awareness. The Building and Safety Division had a couple outreach events to contractors, to the public, to architects, just bringing awareness to the ministerial approval and kind of back and forth question and answer. Program 3A, Legal Services and Fair Education Housing. The Housing Division conducted multiple outreach and engagement efforts in 2025. And then in progress, programs that we're working on include all of these listed here. Also in progress is our local coastal program. The Community Development Department is preparing an updated and consolidated local coastal program. We have been working with a consultant to draft this, and we'll be bringing it within the next few months, chapter by chapter, to the Planning Commission for review. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission accept the 2025 General Plan Annual Report, and staff is available for questions. We did receive 2 comments from the public, just to make you aware of those, but I'm sure you've reviewed those already. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Sure.
Any questions for Christy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Evan. Well, thanks, Christy.
Mhm.
So the state's cease and desist order, what is the any idea of a likely timing on that?
I have not heard of any possible timing on a lifting of the cease and desist order.
So that's really the state of Public Utilities Commission, I think.
It's the State Water Resources Control Board.
And they have to go through typical hearings and that sort of thing in order to remove that cease and desist order.
Yeah, I don't know what the actual process is, the state's process. Do you know more about that?
Yeah. So there's been a request to lift certain provisions of the cease and desist order that has been submitted by the water district and not the city. So we're limited in our knowledge of what the status is of that.
I was going to ask exactly the same thing.
It's, I mean, what has it been 35 or 40 years that we've been under this order? So what about Middlebury College? They are leaving. And is there housing, or maybe you don't know this, it just occurred to me, it's right up the hill here.
Mhm.
Is there any housing that's part of their real estate?
Yeah, they're not making those plans available to the city right now. I think they're still trying to determine their plans for the future.
Right.
So I don't have an answer to that.
They do currently own some student housing, so there is residential components to their operation.
Right.
They,
And I don't
yeah,
think student housing counts towards RENA.
it does not.
So that's a possible.
It's a possibility. There's definitely possibilities of maybe some conversions of certain spaces
But
from.
private property and.
It is privately owned. Yeah, it's all privately held.
Anything over here?
I have a question. Sort of a lame question, but what exactly are we voting on here? Like, are voting to accept it, but are we to provide comments? Like, what if we don't accept it? Like, what are we doing here?
So this is it's an informational accepting of the report that we're required to submit to the state every year. So this will move on to council regardless of action. And the council will receive this report at their next council meeting. We're required by state law to submit this report. It doesn't put forth any action. It is just that it's a report on past events, what has already occurred that we provide to the state so that they can track our progress in implementing our housing element. So it doesn't propose any changes to the housing element. It doesn't propose any changes to any programs in the housing element. It doesn't actually propose any action other than the commission receiving the report prior to it going before the council, who will authorize us to accept it to the state.
So like even comments that we might make would be.
They wouldn't be
for lack of a
included in
better
the
word,
report.
meaningless. Yeah.
Well, they would be included with the report, but they would be, the commission can make comments into the record. And then there also can make comments when this appears at council as well. But it won't necessarily be incorporated into the report because that's not the purpose of the report.
I have a number of questions. Christy, you had mentioned in your presentation that the city will be moving forward with the LCP adoption and that it's going to be kind of phased over the next several months.
Mhm.
Is that can you elaborate on exactly what that adoption process is going to take and what type of coordination or submittal to the Coastal Commission? Just
Yeah.
brief me on how that all works.
So we're going to take the chapters, like chapter at a time, to the Planning Commission, and then we'll receive public comments from the Planning Commission, and then we'll submit them to the Coastal Commission for review as well. And then we'd also like to do some additional public outreach.
What is the time frame on, getting from point A to Z with this whole process?
We don't have all of that figured out, but I think within the next month or two, we're going to be bringing the first couple chapters.
Sure. There's a little bit of unknown. It's based on the time frame in which it takes the Coastal Commission staff to review and provide comment.
Yeah, and that could take months.
Could.
Okay. Those are my questions. Any further?
Leave a little more clarification. So what it sounded like is you could have had an AI planning commission up here and you just feed it out and we spit it back and we're done. I expect that there may be people making comment, and I would expect that those comments get relayed very clearly to the council. And if you're saying they're not, I'm not going to go as an individual to the council. That's not my job as a planning commissioner. And if you're telling me they are not, we should be done talking about this.
So this is to provide the same information to the planning commission that we will be providing to the state. So it's to inform the commission. So if the commission is not interested, you can take public comment and make action to accept the report.
So making comments won't be taken to the council.
I'm not sure how they would be forwarded to the council out
How
at
about
not
in a report that said the planning commission said this about this report?
in the council report.
Yes,
Sure. But it won't be in the actual progress report that's being submitted to the state.
I get that, but I just want to make sure comments that we make get to city council.
Understood.
Thank you.
Are you suggesting that we should be replaced by AI?
Well, I think
Not
that's
yet.
what the
Okay.
staff may be.
Just wondering.
Sometimes I would prefer that.
Well, you know, and you should make things easy.
Okay, where are we? We're gonna, we'll open this up to public comment now. Is there anybody in chambers that would like to talk?
Should I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Laura Davis, providing comment on behalf of Landwatch Monterey County. The city has made progress in implementing a number of important programs and policies. However, one major issue is the claim that a lack of available water is standing in the way of housing development. We urge the Planning Commission to request that the City Council reconsider its November 2025 decision to delay water distribution from Pure Water Monterey. The city can make water available right now. Water experts, Monterey City's own past decisions, and the State Water Board's lack of objection all confirm the CDO moratorium does not apply where there is no change in the type of development at the site, i.e. where no zoning change is required. In those cases, it is permissible to distribute more water right now. If the city is still concerned, it can shift the liability to the developer through an indemnity agreement. We are now at a point where the real costs and risks of withholding water far outweigh any hypothetical risk of distributing it. The city could have started distributing water in November. It chose not to. The city is delaying and discouraging development projects that would otherwise alleviate Monterey's housing shortage. This translates into a serious setback in the city's efforts to meet its RHNA. It translates into real people not being able to afford housing. Every jurisdiction in the MPWMD is already using or is poised to make use of new water allocations. There is no reason to withhold water when it's available and ready to use. Other jurisdictions understand this. Monterey stands alone as the only city that is saying no to housing based on a risk that doesn't actually exist. The city, not the CDO, is what is standing in the way of development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gabriel?
Righty. Hello, everybody. My name is Gabriel Sanders. I am a former ARC commissioner. Rest in peace. And the current executive director and founder of the Monterey Opportunity Housing Trust. We are a community land trust based right here in Monterey with the objective of acquiring and stewarding land for affordable housing. Currently, if we were to acquire a piece of land that was say home to one or two homes, had a water meter, we could acquire and make sure that those homes were utilized for affordable housing. We could deed restrict them right away. If that piece of land had capacity for another, say, 6 units, we wouldn't be able to build them for no other reason than this water is being withheld. And there is no principle behind that other than cover your ass, CYA. At this point, we've seen Pacific Grove, we've seen Sand City, we've seen all of the cities under MPWMD, as our previous speaker acknowledged, use water under the CDO to intensify use where it is permissible under the CDO. Our city attorney has interpreted it otherwise, just as she interprets the parking requirements otherwise. We have high quality transit in this city, less than a half a mile from where we sit right now, and less than a half mile where there are sites that could be developed with higher density, with more affordable units, if they were allowed to relieve themselves of the requirement for parking spaces. This is just one of many instances where conservative interpretation of the law and the CDO is holding us back from additional affordable housing. I just want to make sure that you understand that as I'll put on my hat as an MPUSD trustee for Area 6, which is where we sit right now. If a teacher decides next year not to come back because they couldn't find the housing that might have been built on a site that is currently restricted by water, that's on the city.
Thank you, Gabriel. Diane?
Hi there. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm Diane Coward. I'm the CEO of Revision West, and I am doing naturally affordable housing in the county. And our target is really the missing middle, and so that's where we're really focused. And it's one of the hardest areas, obviously, to do housing. We have here in Monterey a site right now, and I need 25 water credits to put 6 two-bedroom housing units on that site, walkable to downtown. And we have a water meter. We have everything we need. We just need 25 water credits. So anyway, when we're looking at other properties in other jurisdictions, almost everybody said, "Hey, we'll give you water. Come over here and do this." But the 6 units is prime housing for affordable units that are in really nice areas, and we love to have teachers and firefighters in those units. So I'm just urging if you can help to convince the the city and the council to approve distributing the water, that would be great for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Anybody else in chamber? Online, Erica?
There are some participants online. I see one hand raised. I can go ahead and allow Melody Chrislock to speak.
Go ahead.
Yes, Melody Chrislock. I am the Director of Public Water now. So despite the CDO, there is no lack of available water for housing development. Right now, Pure Water Monterey is storing water in the ground in the Seaside Basin because there's more than enough water for current use. There is no longer any reason to delay using and allocating this water. As a Director of Public Water now, I was a participant in the CPUC's water supply and demand hearing over a year and a half. And even though I don't agree with their end estimate, which is high, even with their estimate, they determined that the peninsula would only need another 2,500 acre feet of water 25 years from now. That's how much water we actually have, according to the CPUC, all supplies and all demand considered. So I think very few people understand that, and the CDO is in process. It could be heard anytime. They keep getting back to the Water Management District saying, "We haven't forgotten you." So this will happen, but there really is no reason to wait. With all this extra water being stored, we absolutely agree with Landwatch. Please urge your city council to revise its November 2025 decision. There is no reason at all to wait. The city can make this water available right now. And as they said, every jurisdiction on the peninsula, except for the city of Monterey, understands this and is using and allocating this water. So I don't know what happened at your city council meeting where this was delayed or blocked. I wasn't there. And I haven't had a chance to speak to your mayor and find out. But I think that this really needs to be looked at. There's urgent need for housing, and there's plenty of water going into the ground right now it's just being stored for the future. So please have a look at this more deeply. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Erica, anybody else?
We can go ahead and go back to the telephone caller number ending in 735. Telephone,
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Yes, my name is Monique Olson. I am the owner of the property at 1880 Prescott, which is at the corner of Alice and Prescott. It's a substandard lot. It's zoned for SFR. I have no intention of changing it. I plan on aging out there. Your commission voted to approve my plans 10 years ago in October of 2015 with a 5-0 vote. It was not appealed, and I did not have to go to the council. I have been waiting patiently for 10 years to have a water meter. I have been on the phone with the CPUC a number of times now, requesting that this situation with Cal-Am, the water district, the CDO, be completely relooked at. We have enough water on the peninsula for 25 years. This narrative of a desal plant, the narrative that we don't have enough water, that is not the case. And I think as commissioners, if you looked at it from a property owner's eyes, you're talking about affordable housing. This is all buzzwords. This is all trending at the moment. Affordable housing for the teachers on Garden Road, for this group, for that group. Where is my affordability in the last 10 years? The only thing that this situation has gotten me is property taxes and letters from the fire department to mitigate fire risk. And I do that every summer. I am absolutely disgusted with this situation. I plan on aging out at my property. I'm a local Monterey family. I went to coffee with two girls that I went to high school with at Monterey High back in 1983, last Monday at the East Village coffee shop. They said, Monique, this is disgusting. You have got to do something. Hire an attorney and seek litigation and seek counsel. Because 10 years, I was 50. I am now 60 years of age, and I am still in this same position that this situation with the water has created. And if I was in, just like the other caller said, any other city other than Monterey, I would be moving forward. And I chase yeses, and so should you. You should not be chasing the word no. And for the staff to be sitting on their hands on this situation for SFRs is just as bad as the entire time it has taken to get affordable housing on this agenda. I want my meter, and I expect that the city start moving in that direction. 10 years of my life has gone by. That is an awful long time. And you people, the commissioners, the ARC, the city council, should be.
Thank you, caller. Is that it, Erica? Anybody else?
Later, we'll
Once again, if you're joining by telephone, you can dial *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. I currently see no other attendees with their hands raised.
We'll close the public hearing and bring this back to the, do I have any comment from fellow commissioners?
I've got
Well-
lots of comments, but I've got a question for staff.
Let's start with Bob and then we'll go around.
We talked about a number of housing projects where the projects were actually cut down. So a number of Garden Road projects that came before us, either when I was in ARC or planning them. You can see how the impact was driving people either to dump their project or to curtail it to fit whatever they could get for the water. I mean, we really should do something. I'm not sure if are making a request like Glenn was recommended, it's going to result in anything, but maybe why not? A little bit of pressure to re-engage. So I guess that would be my concern, but question too is how would we go about approving the document that you presented to us, but also making that request so we can push the issue back to the city council for reassessing the decision.
So my response is that there's no mechanism in this action that would reopen this decision with the city council. What's before you this afternoon is the acceptance of an annual progress report that references a program that was adopted in our housing element that says that the staff will work towards addressing the water constraints on the peninsula to further facilitate affordable housing. What this report does is it documents what progress is made in implementing that program. And that this report states that the council made that decision in November of 2025 to not issue that 141 acre feet of water. This action does not further any part of that action. This is just simply a report that documents that that's what happened in the year of 2025, and that we submit that to the HCD, documenting that's the progress that was made on that program in the year 2025. So these are two. If you have an interest in the council revisiting that decision, this item has no relevancy to that.
David?
Question on the circulation element part of this, it just starts at goal C. And it only references bicycles. Are there pedestrians? Are there other things that I'm not seeing here? And I did read through the whole thing.
So that is, yes, pedestrians are included. We do have goals and policies that pertain to pedestrians in the circulation element. This is just to provide an update on what progress was made to specific goals and policies in the calendar year of 2025.
So the only progress we made was on bicycles? Is that what?
Well, so as you see, there's a number of different transportation goals and policies that are referenced here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any that were specific.
None on pedestrians.
We do have language in here about the expansion of the city's sidewalk network and program, which is meant to facilitate pedestrian travel,
Okay.
as well as improvements in accordance with the city's ADA transition plan as well.
Anything else, David?
Again, well, comments in a bit, or should we start with comments?
We're in deliberation right now.
Okay. Again, I think it is important for Planning Commission to make comments that get put in a report that go to the city council. I watched the city council meeting about water, and they were confused. I have to say, they were led down a specific path. I think it's important, if other planning commissioners agree, that we suggest that they open it back up. And I'm going to vote against this because, and you say it's going to go on anyway, again, then why is it in front of us? This is such a silly method that we're doing. But I think this is our time to make comments about things. And I don't agree that it's the council action that is causing this right now, not the cease and desist order. And so I think it's important, if we agree with those comments, and again, in this case, something you don't hear me say very often, I agree with Landwatch's letter. I think that's important that that sort of information gets to the council and again, I can't go to the council really as a private citizen. This is something that's in front of me. I think that that's important. I think that they made a mistake, and I think they should be told that. I also think, looking through the circulation element, I don't agree that we have made a safe, reliable bicycle network. I bicycle and I am a pedestrian. I do both all the time. And we are allowing motorcycles on sidewalks, on pathways in the streets that make it dangerous as a citizen. And I think this message needs to get to the city council. And I've been told that I can go as a private citizen. I am not a private citizen. I want this in a report to the council. So I disagree with some of the elements on here. So I will be voting against it.
Terry?
Levi, I have a question. So this item is, the planning commission's action is to accept the 25 general plan annual report. Does it then go to the city council for a similar acceptance?
That's correct.
Okay, so actually couldn't David's notion that the planning commission could vote on a comment that would be added to the staff report, couldn't that happen? For the staff report?
To that the commission would vote on a comment.
Yeah.
No, that would be irregular for the commission to take action on content to be included into a city council agenda report outside of a summarization of comments made at the planning commission meeting. So it's not necessarily a formal action. If the commission wants to voice concerns or thoughts on the annual progress report, we'll certainly include those.
I mean, we could do a straw vote amongst us to see how strong this sentiment is, I guess. That wouldn't be a part of the regular motion, so at least we could gauge what kind of comments we would give to staff, and that would somehow be communicated to the city council.
I'm just curious to follow up on that. Is it something that we would then request to be agendized as a mechanism for the planning commission as a body to make a comment that would then go to city council? Would that be the proper mechanism to accomplish what Terry was saying?
I guess it depends on what the comments are and if they're pertaining to this item or not. Much of the conversation tonight has circulated around the action council took last November regarding the issuance of the water allocation. I would say that that is a separate item entirely than this annual progress report.
Levi, could we possibly agendize a special session to bring this topic back to the planning commission? Because quite frankly, it was never brought to us in the first place. It just went right to council.
I believe that's because it's outside the purview of the planning commission. So I'm not, again, it would be irregular for the planning commission to agendize a item that the council has already acted on. They're a superior body. So again, you can agendize something. I'm not sure what action you would be forwarding to the council.
Well, we would be forwarding basically our comments that, right now we seem to be hamstrung in terms of being able to do that.
Sure. I can speak with our city attorney's office and get more information on what the procedural approach to that would be, but it would not be appropriate to attach it to any action associated with this item.
Right. And that's why I'm trying to segregate it as a separate session.
So let me get some more information on that and I can certainly provide that.
Anything else, Terry?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if I would vote against this item because it is quite separate from this November 25 action about water in the city council. It seems like this is sort of an independent thing that we should vote on its own merit. So
It's its own component. It's its own component within a category of other items.
yeah. So my tendency would be to if a motion is made to accept this item, then I would probably vote for it.
Justin?
If we all voted to reject this item, wouldn't there at least need to be some staff explanation of why the planning commission voted to reject, not to accept this report? Or would it just be presented, planning commission chose not to accept your report?
I'm not sure. It would depend on what the grounds were for rejecting the report. As I've heard it today, I've heard some comments of disagreements of some actual content in the report. Beyond that, I would have to relay that the report was rejected for reasons not pertaining to the APR. If it's for the purposes of initiating the water discussion,
Mhm.
Again, this is not the appropriate mechanism to reinitiate that conversation with council if that's the commission's desire. And I will also add that the city's required to submit this to the state every year by April 1st. So a failure to do so would put the city in violation of state law as well. That's why this is going to go to council, regardless of the action, because it is a legal requirement.
And April 1st seems like an appropriate deadline.
April Fools.
Sorry.
Any other, just,
I guess one more, since we're making comments and asking questions about items within the report, even though I acknowledge that you are continually stating that we should not be doing that, but the SB 9 line items in here, I just want to clarify because I was not able to attend the city council meeting when those were brought up. But both of those SB 9, where you do allow subdivision of single family lots and where you could go up to 6 units on a lot, they both require that the original owner of the parcel remain in residence on those lots, correct?
Yeah, so if there is a urban lot split through an SB9 application, the owner has to remain at one of those lots for a minimum of 3 years.
Which seems to discourage, in my mind, that would discourage development of a lot of lots if you have to have a family member living on those lots. And is that clause required to be in there by the state, or was that the city's decision to put that in there?
It's a state requirement.
Okay. And I'll just state it, I agree with all the comments we've heard about water, and that this is a really, really, truly misguided decision by the city council to not release that water in any way that we could go before them and pass that opinion on, I think is important.
Sandy.
Yeah, I've got a couple of comments. First of all, the lady who called in, I remember that application for her substandard lot because we were on the RC at the time. It's on Prescott. Christy Hopper was the planning person from the staff, and the question came up, how can you approve this project when there's no water? And Christy said, well, it's approved when there is water. And there's a long list of people who've had projects approved where there is no water. So it was all based on future availability. And now there is availability, but the city for some reason is not releasing it. Two things I wanted to say. I don't want to go on too long because other people have their chance to talk. The first one is, this is an historic report. This is a report of what the goals and intentions and accomplishments from 2025. Now we're in 2026 and we have an opportunity to change things. But this thing that's due on April the 1st, this is an historic report, right? This is what has happened. Now we can have an opportunity this year to change what could happen. And I totally agree with the lady from land use and the developer. The thing that bothers me about this general plan is that there is a high concentration on land use and nice parks and the water and the housing. And there is something that, to me, that is totally missing from the general plan, and that is any kind of business or economic development of the retail or business section of the city. Would that not be something that could be included in a general plan?
Sometimes there's an economic element to a general plan. It's correct at times.
At one point in time, the city was considering hiring a director of economic development because the 3 major retail corridors are in trouble: downtown, North Fremont, Lighthouse, and there's many others. And they all need a huge shot in the arm, but there is no mention of anything like that in this general plan. So I'll just say that that is a missing element. And that's a comment from me.
I'm going to add to what Sandy said. I agree that it would be a benefit to have an economic development portion in the general plan, but it wouldn't be our purview necessarily to evaluate that. Just like it's not within our purview to consider the water issue that we just all talked about. But the question I still have remaining is, if this is not within our purview, why is it being presented to us? Let's say, for instance, every single one of these components that we're evaluating were not within our purview, then why is it for us?
That's our understanding, that the planning commission likes to be made aware of the work that the staff is doing and the progress made in implementing the general plan, but it seems that that may be incorrect.
Well, it seems like we're somewhat, as I said earlier, handicapped because we don't have an opportunity to really take any action on this. It's going to proceed with or without any objections from the planning commission.
Well, as Commissioner Freeman mentioned, it's a historic report of things that have already happened. So I'm not sure what action the commission would take that would impact the events that have already happened.
No, it's really like an audit more than anything else. And I understand that that's really just a neutral kind of an objective report. But nonetheless, this particular item has triggered a lot of public comment, and I think it's respectful to be able to take that into consideration. That's pretty much how I feel about this, and I'm going to vote for it because I understand that this is really procedural. But on the other hand, we do have issues in here, not within our purview, but it's attracting a lot of attention, and I would like to, if anything, to increase the public participation on these types of issues, as opposed to just limited to a council session. And if there's any way, when you talk to the city attorney, to make that happen, I think it would benefit everybody. So that's where I stand. Any other comments? Erica, would you mind doing a roll call vote, please?
Is there,
We'll need a motion.
Oh,
we don't apparently need a motion.
I guess not, right? It doesn't matter. I jumped ahead a little bit. I apologize for that. Would somebody like to make a motion? Nobody?
No.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we accept the 2025 General Plan Annual Report. And this will, I understand this will go to the City Council for a similar acceptance. And I'd like staff to add to that staff report that goes to the City Council that the Planning Commission is concerned about the holdup in the release of the water allocation that is being held.
After your second, I would like to make one last addendum to your second, which is to direct staff to have dialogue with city attorney and make that as a formal part of it.
Okay, I'll add that to the motion.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Chair Latassa. We have a second by Commissioner Bluth. Can we get a roll call, please? I'm sorry, hold on a second. Sorry about that.
So there's approving and there's accepting. So whenever we approve something, we can make it with a condition.
The action is to accept the report.
They got you. And before we do a roll call, I just wanted to clarify with Levi that making an addendum to the motion, as I just did, is procedural.
It's unrelated to the action, but it's heard.
Erica?
Sure. Chair Silva,
Yes.
Vice Chair Latassa,
Yes.
Commissioner Bluth,
Yes.
Commissioner Freeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Pauly,
Yes.
and Commissioner Stoker.
No.
Okay, The motion carries.
Thank you.
Not better, man. Is this appealable?
All right, very good. We're going to turn our attention to commissioner comments. Anybody have something positive to say?
Well, sure. In regards to what we just discussed, I'd like to request that staff agendize a planning commission hearing on this water situation. And even though we can't create any ordinances or anything, but we can at least pass along our opinions to higher authorities.
Or at least have a greater participation for a public hearing.
Yeah, I sense that we all sort of agree that we need to look more closely at it and get a staff report on what's going on with this 141 acre feet and what the city, maybe this city attorney needs to come and explain themselves.
We can tell them that they were wrong. And it's
Maybe.
okay.
Maybe. So that's my comment.
I just wonder if the water issue can't be agendized at the planning commission, but we are allowed to go as individuals to the city council meetings. If every member of the planning commission could attend a city council meeting in an organized fashion and all voice our discontent with the city councils. Because our work is very related to that decision, and we can't do our work based on that decision. And part of our job is to fix the problems of this city. You mentioned economic development. You can't have economic development without housing.
Right.
And you can't build housing without water.
Yeah.
And so all of these problems go back to the issue of water, and council has made a huge mistake. And if the only way that we can voice that to them, if we're not allowed to make comments on this report that we've just received, is to go and stand in line with all the other citizens of Monterey, but announce ourselves as members of the planning commission one by one, then I think we should do that.
Well, back in the old days, we were discouraged by the city attorney from doing that because we're not actually members of the planning commission when we go individually to the city council. We are members of the planning commission when we're here. And I think the correct action, even though I've been told we can't do this, but I've been told by other people that we can, we've done it in the past, is ask that something be agendized, we talk about it, and even if we can't take action, we send a message to the council. We are allowed to do that. And again, if you say not, I want a meeting with the city attorney, I want the city attorney here, I want Kim here so we can talk about it, because this is what used to be done, and it is the correct way for the planning commission to send a message. As an individual, I can go to city council, but I can't go to city council as a member of the planning commission.
Well, I remember one time when I went before city council and just stood in line like you're saying. Clementine recognized me as the chair of the planning commission, stated that.
I'm not saying we're going there as an organized body. I'm saying that as we announce ourselves, we say, and I'm a member of the planning commission for the city of Monterey.
We don't have to sit in separate parts of the house.
Brown Act stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Levi, can I ask you?
What happened, Bob? You didn't finish.
She just introduced me as chair of the planning. Oh, yes, Mr. Blue, chair of the planning commission, and then I made my comment. So I'm not sure if Clementine is officially recognizing that way or just not, but.
Levi, can I ask another related question? And that is there anything in the Monterey municipal ordinance that clarifies the type of topics that the planning commission is limited to?
Yes, so chapter 2 of the municipal code is the administration chapter. It lays out the duties and responsibilities of the planning commission.
But does that go into actual topics that we're not allowed to discuss?
It provides general topics in which, under the duties and responsibilities, it doesn't necessarily list a list of topics that you're prohibited from discussing. There are different topics that will be presented to the commission in different ways that may be under the purview of the commission in some circumstances and may not be in other circumstances, depending on how it arises. But it does list generally what the purposes and responsibilities of the planning commission are.
Because I would say that this is tangent to land use. I mean, we can't really even talk about or open up the topic of land use if there's not infrastructure to support it. And maybe when you speak to the city attorney, you can find some way, or maybe she could, to review the codified language and see if there's anything in there that would potentially open the door for us to agendize this. Because if indeed the language is so vague and broad, there could be a way for us to fit this in.
And then under commission comments, I've got one more.
Go ahead.
My favorite business downtown isn't there a limit on the amount of signage you can have in windows? This is the ARC discussion.
Yes, it's percentage based and
The window or?
of the windows of the window.
So you can have signs in every window.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't exceed a certain percentage.
This is the only word way folder.
I wasn't specific in this case.
I think we all know what you're talking about.
Every time I walk by it. Okay.
The city council would actually have to open up a discussion on the water situation in order for this group parents to take place, not just the general plan thing. Wouldn't they have to reconsider stopping the CDO and accepting the pure water?
I don't think we'd be looking for a final decision in voicing our opinion, but this wasn't, we had several people make comments on water here today,
Okay.
public comments on
Okay.
water here today. And technically, as you've stated numerously, the discussion of water was not agendized. So we could do the same thing at the city council meeting. And I also understand other commissioners' comments that it should be a more formal process where we convene as a body and pass that information. I'm fine either way, but somehow the city council needs to know that the planning commission disagrees with them.
But in a way, that ship has already sailed since last November. So, what influence do we have to reopen it, considering that they've already made a decision?
Well, they can always rescind and amend the previous decision.
At some point, it's going to have to be reopened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
How
hopefully
does that work?
they'll get this message in their staff report that goes along with this.
Right.
Huge amount of discussion that said city council was wrong. Reopen it. That can be in the staff report.
Apparently, it's not.
Notes are being
The
taken.
message of what happened at the meeting, your staff report says what happened at the meeting, right?
We do provide a summary of what happened at the previous meeting.
Give them a bunch.
It could be more than a summary. It could be a strong statement that the majority, if not all of the planning commissioners, feel one way about this. Instead of just a blanket statement that there was discussion about water and then going on to the next. Because a lot of times when you read staff reports, it's all it says. And even the minutes nowadays is very brief.
Well, from what I'm hearing is I hear a unanimity of this opinion. I haven't heard anybody say otherwise of the six of us sitting here.
I think that should send a strong message. All right, anything else? Levi, do you have informational reports for us?
Nothing more than what's included in your agenda packet.
What's the status on the Ordway project? I thought you mentioned that there was going to be some application coming before us.
There's an architectural review application under review right now.
Very good.
Do we get to see it?
Will eventually, unless it's approved administratively.
All right, well, I think that does it for today. I thank everybody for your participation, and Levi, thank you very much as well for putting up with us. We're a rowdy bunch.
Don't take it personally.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.